frustration, because it's the core of the game. The game is built for you to run into these walls and then repeat these ad nauseum trudges back to the thing. Like, you go up against the thing you don't want to fight because it's unfun and shitty, and then when you fail and have to try again, not only do you have to redo the thing that is unfun and shitty, but you have to go through a time waster of like 3 minutes to then re-experience the thing you don't even want to re-experience. Because you know what? I don't think it's fun. Yeah, I am exactly 48 hours in. I have spent 2 days or a whole week's worth, like, work shifts playing this game at this point. And I just deeply dislike it. I deeply dislike it. I had a roller coaster of feelings about it at first. I'll say that. Initially, I went from not liking it to then going, okay, my reason for disliking it here is actually petty and shitty. I take it back. I was just mad. Because, like, let's be real, the Beast Fly's not a good boss, but it wasn't a big enough part or a horrific enough part for me to actually condemn the game. That was a combination of skill issue and just being mad. I actually don't think any of the bosses I fought, even if I don't like them, are egregious enough to damn the game. The bosses are all fine. I dislike parts of the game that revolve around everything that's not boss fights and platforming. I think the platforming, again, even when frustrating, is actually good and feels good to complete. The problem with the platforming is then when your reward for getting through platforming is a gank room, or one of the bosses, which the boss is not what I have an issue with in isolation here. When the boss is the end point of a platforming run, or even worse, a gank room, and then you have to suffer. You have to sit there and suffer fighting through this gank room. And if you fail, you have to redo the platforming. Which, mind you, I'm admitting the platforming can be difficult. And even if you're great at the game, you're inevitably going to make mistakes. And it's just going to elongate. It's just going to elongate the suffering. Where you just have to, start. And then a platforming that could have been memorable as being difficult, but really, really rewarding to get through, becomes this trudgerous, horrific run back. So many of these platforming areas, the first time I go through them, I'm like, damn, I liked that. I did. That was really interesting what they did with the mechanics, because I'll say it right here. Team Cherry. Hey, Nate. What's going on? Team Cherry did a great job making Hornet's kit way more complex and expressive. And that makes navigating the platform areas much, much more fun. It makes it much more interesting to navigate the platforms. It makes it much more interesting. Oh, I am crashing out because I hate Silksong. I am crashing out because I hate Silksong. That's what's happening. I am mid-crash out. I have been crashing out for like 35 minutes now because I'm so mad at Silksong and so over myself, over the game. And I'm so mad about it because there's parts of it that are so goddamn good, but the parts that are bad are so unfun and so frustrating that I just don't think I can keep playing it. It has been years since I have played a game that I just despise this much. I do like Silksong. But I also hate it. It's a great game for parts of it. Mostly the platforming's wonderful. Like, the platforming's so creative, it's so skill expressive. Pretty much everything to do with fighting the regular dudes in the game and the suffering situations that the game intentionally puts you through for failing what is an intentionally difficult game. I do not have a problem with difficult games. I was going on a crash out about how I love Elden Ring. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time, and I got hard stuck on a boss called Bale in the DLC. I fought Bale for like 5 days. And I don't have anything bad to say about that boss. It was very enjoyable. Part of why I think it's literally 50-50. Because, like, the parts I like are the platforming and bosses. But then I hate then the platforming becomes half bad, because the platforming is like great the first time you go through it and first time you conquer it, but then like your reward for getting through a platforming zone is very often a boss at the end of the platforming zone, or a gank room where you have to fight like 5 to 10 waves of enemies, and if you fail you have to repeat the platforming zone and then try again on the boss or the gank squad. So because you end up repeating what was initially a good, satisfying, rewarding, interesting platforming zone, after you have to repeat it like 10 times, it starts to become miserable. And you're like, you start making mistakes too because you're just like frustrated, and it becomes just this trudge where it's like, oh, this wasn't designed to be fun and interesting. It was designed to torture you. It was designed to make you feel like shit for failing and having to waste 4 minutes at a time each time you fail. I thought we were past this in the Souls-like sphere of games, because, like, Elden Ring and Sekiro before Elden Ring, I think, I didn't play Sekiro, but I'm pretty sure Sekiro did this, had, like, where you would respawn immediately at the boss fight or challenge room, so that you didn't have to waste your time, because the developers looked at the playing behaviors of people who played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and went, oh, players aren't fighting their way to the bosses every time. Players are, like, cheesing their way to the boss, or just running as fast as they can to get back to the boss when they fail. They don't want to have a traversal period between the boss and retrying the boss. They want to retry against the boss. They're willing to overcome, like, the attrition. They're willing to overcome the challenge, but they don't want to waste their time in between the attempts. But Silksong seems to have forgotten that innovation in the space, and it's not just like Elden Ring. Other like Souls-like games that do this whole like bench mechanic with you drop your resources have all at this point adopted respawning at the boss when you die, so that you can just immediately try the boss again or the challenge room. The part of Silksong that has me so mad is that the time wasting ruins the good parts. So if it weren't for the time wasting, I'd say the game is like 95% perfect. But then the time wasting makes parts. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks so hard, and it poisons what is a good part of the game. Like I was saying, a boss can be really well designed in this game and can be actually kind of fun to fight. Like in retrospect, I got hard stuck on, or I had a lot of trouble with Splinter in the Splinter boss in this. That boss was actually pretty easy and pretty simple when I like rewatched the VODs and I put together my death compilation. But part of what soured my memory of it is when I was putting together the death compilation, I realized how much time I was wasting retrying the boss each time going up this elevator. You had to go up this elevator. This elevator would just slowly go up, and you had to take it every time to get to the boss, and you'd slowly go up. This elevator took 40 seconds every time. And then you'd have to go through another little platforming zone that would take like another 30, 40 seconds. So you're wasting like a minute and a half doing nothing. Just doing nothing. And what genuinely would have been different about players' experiences had you just gone, oh no, you just respawn directly outside the boss arena? That they would not waste a minute 30 per attempt. Their time would feel more precious. Their time would feel respected. Like, at the core of why I'm sick of this game is I am playing it and my time feels disrespected. I am taking a large amount of time to try and enjoy and experience this piece of handcrafted art that these like three guys made, and it feels like they're going, fuck you, every time I try and experience it. They're like, oh, you wanna spend time to get good and beat this boss? Do 50 jumping jacks before each attempt. Hollow Knight wasn't like this at all. Hollow Knight was honestly, if you did all the side content stuff, the combat in Hollow Knight was so easy. Like if you used all the upgrades and stuff at your disposal, you could not even try on the fights. You could like actually you could just like stand still and beat every boss if you like min-maxed a build for that boss. So, like, there was, if you, like, you could beat the game through skill, or you could beat the game by being a nerd. You could do one or the other, basically. And you could do that with, like, every encounter. And platforming in general wasn't as big as part of the game. The game was mostly exploration. Platforming existed, but it was like way more simple. And that's one of the reasons the platforming's so fun in Silksong. The platforming's incredible, because that was something that wasn't actually that good in Hollow Knight. Like, platforming was probably the worst part of Hollow Knight, while it's the best part of Silksong. Whereas, like, combat was just kind of fine. It wasn't aggravating, but it wasn't exciting either. Most of what you got wrapped up in Hollow Knight was honestly just that the world, the storytelling was so good. It was like hard, but it wasn't like unfair, and you could make it very easy if you wanted to. You could make it very easy. And no, I don't remember a run back. Like, I don't remember a single run back in all of Hollow Knight. Like, I don't remember a single time that you had to engage in a long series of anything to refight the bosses. A matter of fact, most of the time, they wouldn't like put a bench right outside the boss or anything, or make you spawn. But normally, from memory, you would like unlock a shortcut right before the boss that would lead back to like a central bench or checkpoint. Like, I just, and one thing that Hollow Knight never did was assault you with gank squads constantly. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Gabby, could you chime in on memory? Are there any gank squad rooms in Hollow Knight? I can think of maybe one.
There was a few.
There was a few? I can only think of one in the Crystal Mines.
A lot of them were in optional zones. So, like, there was definitely a gauntlet to earn the tier that made you invincible to acid. There was a gauntlet up in the Soul Sanctum just to, like, proceed to the elevator that reached to the boss.
And the arena's the famous one, which was, like, the optional, like,
yeah, and there
deathmatch survival.
And there's 3 different rounds of that.
But, like, honestly, the arena was not cancerous or unfun in any way.
There was one gauntlet that was super easy at the very beginning that was, like, in the crossroads that just made you fight a few of those, like, flying spitting bugs.
Oh, yeah, it made you fight, like, 3 of them. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, okay, so, like, there were, like, gank squads in Hollow Knight, but they were always, like, really easy, and it wasn't waves and waves of enemies. It was normally, like, oh, you get locked into a room, and it's one wave of bad guys. The only one I could remember that was many, many waves was the arena in Hollow Knight, which was an optional area where you would compete in an arena. Like, and the first stage of the arena was like 4 rounds. The second stage of the arena was like 6 rounds or 7 rounds or something. And then the final was like 10 rounds. But, like, the interesting thing about the arena, too, was that, like, the arena changed with each wave. And the arena stages would also introduce, like, environmental hazards that you could use to also kill the enemies. So you were, like, playing off the map. Whereas, like, I'm crashing out on Silksong at this point because I went to one area in the Citadel, like, after I was exploring the rest of the Citadel, which is, like, the Act 2 area, and I get to this area at the end of a long platforming thing that is just a giant gank squad. It's 10 rounds. It's a 10-round gank squad, and it's not interesting at all. You're in one room that nothing in it changes the whole time. The first, I repeated this enough that I can remember the waves already. The first wave is one guy with a little fucking mallet that just, he runs forward and goes whack, whack, whack. A guy with a rapier who just fucking, like, stabs at you and does this little whip move. And then there's a flying guy with a rapier. And then you kill them. And then 2 rapier guys come out on either side, your left and right. And they come at you. And then you kill them. And then it's one of these guys that throws bells that flies around, and one of these guys that flies around with a rapier, and one of the guys with a rapier on the ground. And then as you kill them, a little Ku Klux Klan ghost comes in and starts sucking you off. He starts sucking you off and being like, I'm racist, and sucks you off. And then throws his giant white supremacy spear at you. And then you kill them. And then it's like 2 of these flying swan things that just float around and, like, occasionally hold still. And if you hit them while they're holding still, they parry your attack and lunge forward. And then every now and then they go, squeak, squeak. There's these little, like, pointy, they look like The Ku Klux Klan ghosts, they look like if you chopped the head off of a Klansman and then gave it little robot spider legs that dangle out of the severed neck. And they float around, and then they start sucking. They start sucking your silk out of your body. They just start sucking you off. And they literally deplete your silk bar. And then when they've sucked enough silk out of you, they throw a big white spear. And one of those shows up 3 different times in the middle of some of the rounds. Yeah, and then once you kill the 2 swan things and the one clan ghost head, uh, okay, we'll get a pick. Um, this guy, this guy fucking sucks. He's terrible. He literally sucks you off. He's definitely racist. There's no way that's not racist. There's just there's no way this guy isn't racist. Um, Also, for some reason, the hitbox on these guys is atrocious. You can only hit them in the top part. The legs are not part of their hitbox. But if you touch their legs, you'll get hit. Yeah, I prepared assets so I could point I could be extra. I prepared some assets so I could be extra. I can pull those up. Um yeah, this fucking guy, the leg part not a hitbox. So you can't hit them in the legs as they're flying around. And every flying enemy has the most aggravating fucking like movement pattern. Like as you're the fucking quarter as it's flying around and you move towards it to try and hit it, they will just proportionally move away from you at the exact rate you move towards them. So the only way you can like hit fucking flying things is normally they stand still to make an attack and you like dash under them and fucking jump up to hit. But also, like, you have to jump the right height because if you collide with them in any capacity, like if you're fucking the hairs on the top of your scalp fucking prickle the pixels of their toes, you will take damage. It's crazy. It's crazy. I like the amount of times that you will accidentally take damage colliding with things that are flying because every flying thing is constantly just moving away from you. It's crazy. It's actually just wild how often this happens. It is so persistent. It is so consistent. It drives me up the wall how the flying enemies behave. And also, what percentage of enemies are flying? Of the enemies that you fight in the arena, there are only 3 of, I think, 7 enemies that aren't flying. And you only fight You only fight 7 total enemies that do not fly, while you fight I think 11 flying enemies. I think it's 11 flying enemies in this arena. Maybe 12. It's upwards of 12 flying enemies. Because there's 10 rounds And every round, or there's one round with a boss thing that's on the ground, and then one round with like two mini boss things on the ground. And then there's one round with two fencers, so that's 5 units. And the very first round has one fencer and one guy with a little mallet. So that's all 7 melee things you will encounter in the entire arena. But you will encounter 3 of the racist ghost heads. You will encounter 4 of the 3 of the bell throwers, 4 of the swan things, 2 of the bug spawners, and 3 or 4 flying fencers. Yeah, it's so many. So most of the fucking like the combat against these little guys is also just frustrating because you're fucking chasing them down for the entire fight too. While they're just lobbing stuff at you. They're just lobbing stuff at you as they run away. They just keep fucking running away and lobbing shit at you. And you will constantly take damage trying to attack them, because if you just like jump slightly too high, or even if you jumped perfect and they just happen to move while you jump up at them, maybe they move up a little as you jump up at them and then you just miss, or they move down a little and you just hit them and take damage. The only good thing I can say about this ridiculous gank room is there is literally a bench like a hallway down from it. So they do not make you go through a bunch of nonsense to fight this one. Well, irregardless, I got frustrated and decided, okay, I'll cool off. This gank room is frustrating me. I'm going to explore a different area of the map. So I went to Deep Rock, a lava zone that I believe was like the third area I discovered in the game, or third or fourth area discovered in the game. And because I vaguely remembered a new power up that I had found, might be able to open this door that I couldn't get through in that area. I go back to the area, and sure enough, memory serves correct, and I was able to open a door in that area that I wasn't able to open before. There are no new enemies through this door. It's all the same enemies that already exist in the area. So this is just to show you how frustrating enemies are in this game. Regular enemies are in this game. That even though these were essentially starting game enemies, I go through what is a 5 or 6 screen like run through to get back to this gank squad room, in which I have to traverse little magma slugs that will spray out lava, and the lava does 2 masks of damage. At this point, even though I've gotten 3 extra masks, I only have, or 2 extra masks, 2 or 3 extra masks. I only have 7 health, which means these magma things can kill me in 4 hits. If you take the time to kill these magma things, they drop nothing. They do not drop rosaries, they do not drop shards. They also explode when they die, which also does 2 damage. Then there are also these little flying dudes, which have the exact same problems as any of the other flying bastards in this game, which is that they constantly move away from you, except these ones, no, not that. These ones have the super awesome game design choice of they wear pots on their heads. Is that? Yeah, these guys. They wear pots on their heads, so you can only hit them in their little feet. You can only hit them in their little feet. Not only that, they throw these bombs. You can see in their hand here. The fucking goddamn ads. Display screw you. Okay, yeah. So yeah, the little bombs here. Uh, yeah. We'll fucking. These things. These things, fucking, they can throw essentially two of them at a time. These things will be thrown, and if they hit you, they explode on contact and do 2 masks of damage, which means 4 of them kills you outright at full health. If they miss you, they will land on the ground and just sit there for a couple seconds. And if you walk into them, they will instantly explode. And they will explode after a few seconds. And if you are touched by any amount of the explosion, you will take 2 masks of damage. If one of the bombs misses you, the bomb can be sitting on the ground, and it will explode around the same time that they are throwing a second bomb. So you could be trapped between the bomb they are throwing and a bomb that is exploding very easily. Yeah, the circle and arrow is integral. It's integral for explanation purposes. I made the circle and arrow. I'm going to use the circle and arrow. These these bombs explode in a radius that is I'm going to say about this much of the screen. Yeah. I'll use the circle as a demonstration of blast radius. Yeah, I'm going to say about that much of the screen. If any part of it hits you, you will take 2 damage. And this is a pretty big chunk of the screen. Like, it is like a third of the screen down the center, like leaving not enough margin that you can have much escape. So you could have 2 of these. You could have 2 of these things, and one of them could be exploding on the ground as the other one is taking up room, like taking up a segment, like it's exploding on the ground, and then this one is exploding in the air, and you're fucking like caught with no room. Like, this is just fucking coming at you and sandwiches you between the fucking thing exploding. It's very aggravating. But what's extra aggravating is normally a lot of things that throw stuff in this game gives you the skill expression opportunity to smack the things back. Like, you just smack it back at them. You just smack it back. And normally that does damage. Like the little bell throwers, you could smack the bells they throw, and the bells can go back and hit them and kill them. These things, though, are immune to the explosions from their own bombs. They don't take damage at all. As a matter of fact, if they get hit by one of their bombs, they get like kind of dark and blend into the background a little bit. And they like tuck down into like a little fetal position for a second. So by smacking a bomb away from you, even if it's just defensively, for expressing some level of proficiency and skill in the mechanics of the game, your reward is you can't hurt them now because they're in little fetal position wrapped around their big head that doesn't take damage. So it actively punishes you in a way for fucking hitting the bombs back at them, which to me is ridiculous. These things also have a lot of health. I didn't know this until just now, like going to their wiki, but 60 health? No wonder. No wonder they take so much punishment. Your weapon. So yeah, I have the 3rd level upgrade. So I do 13 damage a hit. Which means I have to hit him 5 times. I have to hit him 5 times to kill him. When I first encountered them with unupgraded needle, I had to hit them 12 times. I always have Sriracha. Sriracha is important. There's a couple things I have in arm's reach on my desk. Sriracha. Candle. Backup candle. That's about it, actually. Everything else is just junk I've left on my desk, like microfilm tape. Or antiseptic spray. Or a toothbrush from the dentist. Which I don't use because I have a mechanical toothbrush. Actually, I think this is Gabby's toothbrush. I don't even think this is my toothbrush. I don't know why it's on my desk. Or this one is kind of fun. A little 3D submarine. A little 3D printed submarine. It is not going to focus. The little 3D printed submarine. It's the sub that those dumb billionaires got into. That was made out of like fiberglass that they killed themselves in. Ocean Gate, I think it was. Yeah. Ocean something. It says it on there, but it's tiny writing. And I can't see that. I got old eyes now. The front screws off. So you could put little billionaires in here. Yeah. But yeah, you gotta hit these things that can kill you in 4 hits and can hit you a lot. You gotta hit them 5 times. So they kill you faster than you kill them, even with 3rd level upgrade. I mean, hell, it looks like even when you max out your sword, looking at the wiki here, you still only kill them in 3 hits. So best case scenario, they're like still a pain in the ass. They're still a pain in the ass. Even when you max out your needle, which you can't do. I have all of the upgrades that are available for the point I'm at in the game. But yeah, you have to fight 2 or go through a platforming area while 2 of these guys are throwing their bombs at you. And you can either stop and kill them, or try and just rush through the platform area and hope that they can't keep up with you. And then your reward for getting through this horrible platform area, which constitutes 6 screen changes, is that you get to fight another gank room, which I didn't beat, but I made it to at least wave 4 on it, so I know it's at least 4 waves of enemies. The first wave is a guy who throws hot coals at you, a person who runs around with a shield, and a person who has a pot on his head and stabs at you with a poker. And then as soon as you kill any one of those three, he's replaced instantly by one of the guys who throws the exploding balls that I was just lamenting about. He's immediately replaced by one of those instantaneously. And then as soon as you kill him and the remaining people in that room, you fight a wave, or a wave that has one of the same little guys with a shield that you killed in that first wave, and a giant guy who just runs back and forth with a brief delay in between. And this giant guy does 2 damage if you touch him or he touches you. To you, so he can kill you in 3 hits too, 3 or 4 hits as well. And he also has a bunch of armor to where you can only hit him in the legs, which he's big, so you can hit him in the legs by just hitting him on either of his horizontal axes, so like from front or behind. But you don't have a lot of window room to do that because he keeps running back and forth through the room. So you have to like hit him one time, jump over him, hit him one time, jump over him, hit him one time, jump over him. And I'm go ahead and guess that these guys, I'm just check their I think it's one of, is this, yes, it's this guy right here. Yeah, this guy right here. 90 health. So 30 more health than the previous, doing 13 damage a hit. I mean, fuck, that means even with what? Takes 7 hits, right? 6 hits isn't enough, right? Because that would be 84. Yeah, yeah. So it would take, fuck me. Yeah, it would take 7 hits. So these guys are just fucking aggravating because they just, again, take so long to kill. Everything in this game takes so long to kill. It's really frustrating. Uh, because, like I said, everything in this game seems to be designed to waste your time. I am, I am so okay if you die fast in a game if other things die fast too. I don't think anyone in any genre of video game likes damage sponges. I just don't think that's a thing that happens. I don't think anyone in the game likes damage sponges. And I've watched some stuff on Silksong, so I know this number right here with the black threaded. I know in Act 3, there's like a plague that like a fucking dark curse that starts infecting things, and you start fighting like black phantom versions of every enemy in every zone, and they're literally just double strength. So even by the time you're in Act 3 and you get that max needle upgrade and are doing 21 damage a hit, by the time you get that upgrade and you could be killing these things in an amount of hits that isn't agonizing, which would still be 5. That would still be like pretty aggravating with how you have to fight them. By the time that's true, you're going to be fighting 180 health versions, which means it's actually going to take 10 hits. So later in the game, by the time you've maxed out your weapon, it's actually going to take longer to kill any of these things. It's just, it's, I'm I'm just so mad about it. I'm so mad about it because I want to love this game. Uh, I loved Hollow Knight so much. Hollow Knight, I genuinely think set a gold standard for like Metroidvanias fused with Souls likes, and I think single handedly revived Metroidvanias as like a genre. And for a minute, I thought Silksong had done everything Hollow Knight had done better, but and in a way it has. Like in a way it has. The platforming is better. The what you can actually do skill expression wise with combat is better. The bosses are more interesting, at least the good bosses. The bad bosses are just as uninteresting as Hollow Knight bosses, but it can also be frustrating because of just everything in this game is too tanky. Like, some people, and fuck those guys, some people complained in Hollow Knight that, you could do too much damage. That by the time you had maxed out your nail, the game could become a little too easy because you could just like take defensive spells and trinkets and stuff, and you could just stand still and essentially ass blast a boss by just hitting them, healing, hitting them, healing, hitting them, healing, like, and they wouldn't be able to kill you as quickly as you killed them with very little like skill. Um I think that problem was probably changed by just having bosses that have smaller windows to heal in and that are, you know, like doing more damage so that you can't heal tank them. And, you know, Hornet heals in a different way than the Knight does in Hollow Knight. In Hollow Knight, you heal progressively, so like you can incrementally heal. Like if you have almost any amount of silk, you can heal 1 mask's worth of health. If you have more than that, you can heal 2 masks of health. If you have more than that, you can heal 3 masks, and etc. etc. Up to I think 5 masks of health. I think is the max amount of health you could heal in one go, from memory. But in Silksong, you only ever heal 3 masks, and you can't heal unless you have at least enough silk to heal 3 masks. So you can't heal more and you can't heal less, which makes healing already more strategic. Also, it takes longer to heal in this game than in Silksong. Or, I mean, it takes longer to heal in Silksong than it does in Hollow Knight. So I think all of those mechanics alone probably would have fixed the criticism that Hollow Knight could become too easy once you maxed out your nail because you did too much damage. Because now your windows for damage are lower. Whereas in this game, your windows for damage are lower, and your windows for healing are smaller, and you do less damage comparatively. You actually do exactly the same amount of damage, but every enemy has more health. Like, every fucking enemy has more health in this game than they do in Hollow Knight. Everything just feels like a bullet sponge. It would be like if fucking... It literally feels like if in response to, I don't know, someone putting out like a Dark Souls in One Punch video. They released like Dark Souls 2, and then everything just has 10x HP pools. Like, the standard number of hits to kill an enemy seems to be 5. That seems to be about the average amount of hits to kill an enemy. And the number of hits needed to kill tougher enemies is normally like 12. Yeah, it's normally like 12. Like, I don't even, I was, yeah, is this it? Yeah, the choir clapper. Let's see. 230 health. This is the mini boss in the first gank squad I was talking about. 230 health, and I do 13 damage a hit. I mean, that literally means you have to hit it 18 times? Is that right? I think 18 times. And let me tell you, 18 times is a fucking lot when these things give you like one window for an attack every like 3 or 4 seconds. If you're really good and really lucky, you can maybe get 2 attacks in. Every like 3 to 5 seconds. So, like, killing this one guy is like an entire minute 30 seconds of combat. And he can kill you in 3 hits. Because he does two damage per hit. Also, your reward for killing this thing, as the wiki points out, is nothing. You get nothing. Which, man, that brings me to a thing I didn't even talk about, which is another frustrating thing. There's an economy in this game. An economy. They put an economy in this game with making it so you actually have to farm and grind for rosaries to buy items. I never once, and let me tell you, I lost my Geo in Hollow Knight all the time because I am bad at video games. I am not good at video games. I lost my Geo in Hollow Knight all the time. You know how often I had to grind for Geo to get stuff in Hollow Knight? Never. Not once. The pacing of the game was good enough, and there wasn't actually all that much you bought with Geo. In this game, there's so much you buy with this game's version of Geo is rosaries. There's so much you buy with rosaries. Every bench you find is like fucking unlocked with 80 rosaries. Every fast travel point you find is unlocked with like 80 rosaries. Every item that you need in a shop is like 650 rosaries. Enemies drop 20 rosaries if you're lucky. If you're lucky, they drop 20 rosaries. And they only respawn when you sit on a bench. I spent 3 hours off stream one day farming rosaries just so I wouldn't have to do it on stream to buy items. And then the very next stream, I unlocked a new zone with a new shop in it. And that new shop had 2,000 rosaries worth of items that I needed to get. It would have taken me another hour to farm that many rosaries. Just sitting and grinding. Running between a spot to kill enemies and a bench. Just sitting and grinding. Bosses give 0 rosaries. You don't even, so it's not even like Dark Souls or something where like your reward for killing a boss is like, can be like 100,000 souls or some shit. Where you actually get something for overcoming your obstacle. In this, if you get the enemies in gank squads don't drop stuff. So even if an enemy in a gank squad does normally drop something, like one of these guys drops 30 rosaries, and these guys are in the gank squad that you encounter in the Citadel. These guys are in the gank squad. Or yeah, these guys, there's a lot of these guys in the gank squad. These guys, it says missing information, but these guys also drop stuff. I know they do. It's just in the gank squads they don't. These guys never drop stuff apparently, which is fucking awesome. A lot of stuff has missing information, but these things don't drop things in the gank squad, so you won't get anything for you won't get resource for actually overcoming these. So the only way you can get these resources is by grinding. It's the only way you can get them. Bosses don't drop them. Gank squads that don't drop them. So you have to just sit there and farm them on enemies that happen to be close to benches. There's nothing in Hollow Knight that you need to buy, period. There are multiple items that you seemingly have to buy. Not all of them, but there are many items that you seemingly have to buy in Silksong. And I complained about this in multiple other streams where I was playing Silksong, but also the tools you use, it costs shards to refresh your tools. So when you use tools, if you're like stuck on a boss or stuck on a gank squad and you need tools to help you win the fight, if you fail and run out of shards, you're gonna have to stop trying and stop attempting to beat that gank squad or that boss. Go somewhere else, farm shards, and then come back so that you can attempt to fight that boss at full power again. I just I I I cannot even begin to get inside the heads of Team Cherry and figure out why they hate their players. Because these things don't make the game harder. They just make it waste more of your time. They make it more frustrating. They make it like every time I have to do one of these things, I just go, man, do I even want to keep playing? Like I keep having fun, but then the fun is that just slams a roadblock between me and the fun and goes, nah. You gotta do chores in your video game. I'm like, I hate that shit. I hate that shit. I could play a game that has way less artistic merit, way less effort, and way less roadblocks in it. Like, I am being blocked from enjoying the good parts of this game by shit like, oh, you gotta farm rosaries to get the items. You suck. So, you gotta go farm shards because you ran out of shards attempting this boss. So not only did we waste your time by making you go up a 30-second elevator 40 times, but you also have to now go kill an ant 40 times. Oh, and then the next grindy thing is quests. Half the quests I've found, or like quests I've gotten so far, I've gotten like 5 quests that are actually interesting out of maybe like 30 quests, and every other quest is just like, enemies now drop white cloth that are wearing white cloth. So like these 4 enemies right here, the Grand Reed, the Chorustor, and the Memoria, all drop white cloth now. But not every time you kill them. So go kill 40 of them until you can get 15 white cloth. That was literally a quest I completed today on stream. That was a quest I completed today on stream, which took me 3 streams to complete. Because the drop rate on this cloth seemed so low. I accepted that quest like 3 streams ago of Silksong. And I just finished it today. Each one of those streams being like 3 hours. Yeah, I didn't sit down and farm these things. It was just like off of killing them passively. But I also was in the area that they spawn for most of those 3 streams. So like fucking 9 hours of gameplay to farm 15 of these cloths. And then my reward for doing that, just 220 rosaries. 1/3 of the amount that I need for like one item, like a key. And a lot of and then the other quests aren't even go farm things. It's just like, donate 300 rosaries, donate 400 rosaries, donate 440 shards. That's the quest. Their quest is, give me money. That's the quest. That's the whole quest, is just give me money. I mean, I've been like, so I created a second channel just for clip to have like edited down versions of the live streams. So I've been editing these videos, these live stream videos down to like not include as many of the repeats and only include like some of the attempts that are either funny or interesting, so that you don't see me attempt, like if you're gonna watch the VOD, you don't see me attempt the same boss like a fucking 15 times, and you only see maybe the first time I failed, 1 or 2 interesting times I failed or funny times I failed, and then the time that I succeeded. Same for the platforming things. And going through those has extra made me realize how much of this game is just been wasted time where I'm not doing anything. Like, I've been streaming 3 to like 5 hours most of the time when I do these Silksong streams. And I have been getting 50 minutes of gameplay out of that, like 3 to 5 hours. Like 50 minutes of unique gameplay. So, I mean, I guess if I had to, at this point, if I had to like define a percentage, as Nate asked earlier, I would say, just based off of that editing, I'm enjoying 20% of the game. I am enjoying 20% of the game, which is that's a 1 out of 5. 2 out of 10. And it's not because the game's bad. It's so strange. Like, genuinely, the game is excellent. And it's just mired down by bad decisions that make it so unbearable to me. I know a lot of people have enjoyed the game that I guess can look past this, but like, I don't know. I hate it. I just hate it. I hate doing this so much. It makes me so mad to just sit here and do mindless shit over and over and over again so I can then engage in part of the game I don't like. I don't like fighting the regular guys. There's nothing interesting mechanically about fighting the regular guys. They do not have, especially when you're fighting like three of them at the same time. In a one-on-one, okay, yeah, you can see the telegraph of their attacks. You can respond to that telegraph. You can dodge. You can exploit weakness. You can exploit openings. But when you have 3 or 4 guys who maybe in isolation are designed well, throwing out attacks semi-randomly, and when you don't have sufficient invulnerability frames after taking damage, which you don't. There's so many times where I get hit by like basically 3 attacks at the same time and just die instantly. It is ridiculous to have these multiple enemies on screen throwing out moves that, if they line up in certain ways, can just end you. And like, hell, I was watching some speed runs of this game. Some any percent speed runs of this game. And even these speed runners were saying, yeah, my run might just end here if blank happens. And it's like, speedrunners are freaking crazy good at these games. They're freaks. In a good way, like, in the best way. I love speedrunners. Speedrunners are freakishly good at games like this. I mean, fucking, I watched the guy I was watching beat the whole game in like 49 minutes. And he got to this gank squad that I'm stuck on, and he said like 3 different waves. He's like, this wave could just lose it for me. He was like, if these 2 enemies like do this, it could just be over right now. And then like then it got to like another wave in that same gank squad. He's like, okay, if these 2 enemies do this, the run's just over for me. And that shit never happened on a boss. He never got to a boss and was like, if this boss does this, it's just over for me. Because the bosses are well designed, ultimately. Every time he got to the boss, he's like, alright, I just have to do this and not mess up. But anytime he got to one of these gank rooms, it was like the guy knew what could go wrong that could result in instant death. Why? Because these people know everything, will learn every situation about these games to have repeatable performances, and they'll just know blank is a possibility. And it is crazy to me to put blank as a possibility to instantly end my run, even when I'm like this level of good. And I'm not that level of good. I think most people that play these games are not that level of good. So people like that, like, what is their experience going to be? They're just going to experience those instant end scenarios more often. because they make more mistakes and they can't see them coming as well. And I'm one of those people. I'm making more mistakes and I don't see them coming as well. So it just results in an excessive amount of wasted time. I really can't say it any other way. The game just results in an excessive amount of wasted time. If I'm wasting time in a game, which is, let's be real, what all video games are. They're ultimately a waste of time, but they're supposed to be enjoyable entertainment. Subtracted from the artistic merit. Undoubtedly, this game has like artistic merit. The music is insane. The art is great. The concept is great. There's even aspects of the game design that are excellent. But at the same time, it doesn't stop the fact that okay, I'm not gonna call it shitty because I actually like it. A game designed by one guy, which definitely doesn't take a quarter of the effort, talent, skill, or artistic merit, like Megabonk, is way more fun. Or a game that is literally just what if Baltero was a slot machine is way more fun. I have so many games at this point that I could play that are just way more fun that I have been playing. I haven't even played Megabonk that much. I've played Megabonk 6.9 hours. This game is so much fun. Same thing with Clover Pit. This game is so much fun. I've only put 10.2 hours into it. I have enjoyed every minute in these two games. Going off of what I can say about like editing my footage for Silksong, after editing my footage for Silksong, I'm gonna say of this 48 hours, I think I've got 8 hours of fun in it. So I've wasted a work week worth of time being miserable playing this game. Hell, even a game that because this is my favorite game right now. I love this game so much. Helldivers 2 has objective problems right now. Like objective problems. The performance is so bad right now. They have tanked the performance so much in recent patches. And I don't even necessarily know how they've done it, but like I get freezes and crashes in this game now, and I'm still like, damn, I want to play it. Like I itch to play this game. It's so much fun. Even like playing bots or something where they've kind of nuked a lot of the the core identity because of the War Striders, and you can just get like ragdolled. It's so funny. It's so fun. It's so much fun to get your shit kicked in this game. It's a blast. Like, it's a blast to play this game and just be fucking like freaking out, running around, laughing about how you're getting your shit kicked in. This is a game where getting your shit kicked in is enjoyable. It can be so fun. Fucking seriously, I'll just I'll reveal my soul's dedication too. I play these games addictively. I played Dark Souls 3 for 343 hours. I played Dark Souls 2 for 369 hours. I played Dark Souls Remastered for 64 hours. That's mostly because I already played the unremastered, probably also like 300 hours. And here's the big one. Um, Elden Ring. I played for 626 hours. And like I said, I got stuck on multiple bosses in Elden Ring for days. Like days. I'm not good at these games. I'm not. I'm I'm cheeks. I am cheeks at video games in general. If it's not a strategy card game, I'm cheeks. I got old man hands. I always have. I've got old man mechanics. I have always had old man mechanics. At my best mechanically in like any game, I was probably still like mid gold in League of Legends. And you know how much time I had to dump in that game to be mid gold? And I still didn't do it because I was mechanically good. I was still old man mechanics. I was mostly nerd shitting people, like just knew more about other gold shitlords. Like the best thing I could compare it to would literally be Elden Ring. If like the dungeons, if anyone watching this has played Elden Ring and gone through the dungeons, picture how aggravating it would be if when you died to the dungeon bosses, you respawned at the bonfire at the start of the dungeon instead of at the Stake of Marika right outside the fog door. Imagine if Elden Ring just didn't give you Stakes of Marika. Or Marika, or whatever it is. Imagine. Imagine if my experience with this game would have been entirely different. My experience with this game would have been absolutely different. It would have been aggravating to try to engage with the content, same as. And instead of dumping, I mean, fucking like, what is this, like a month worth of time or more, like straight gameplay? Like, that's so much time. If something is gonna be punishing to the degree that like bosses can be in like Elden Ring or these gank squads can be in Silksong, your barrier for re-entry and for retrial needs to be low. Alternatively, if things are going to be hard and you're going to have like severe consequences for failure, you need to have total pre-control essentially of your ability to control the situation by playing it good before you enter a situation. The only thing I could compare that to, which is Baldur's Gate, I've got 720 hours in this game, and I have completed it on honor mode, which is the mode where if you die, your file gets deleted. That's severe consequences for failure. That's severe barrier for reentry. But this is a strategy game. You can beat this game. You can never lose a fight in the entire game by just abusing the mechanics. You can make sure that things are so rigged in your favor, even though the game can be super difficult, that you just never lose. You can literally just stack the cards in your favor to a degree that having your file literally deleted is still fair consequences. These are the polar opposites of hard game design. You either need barrier of re-entry to be low because your game is hard, so essentially consequences at total are low, or consequences need to be severe, so ability to prevent failure needs to be high. Ability to prevent failure in Silksong is low because random things can happen that just end your run, and it's punishing. So it's like hitting two negatives. There's no give and take. It's just take and take. They don't give you anything for it. Shit's all I can really at this point rant about it. I fucking ranted an extra like 2 hours. I stopped streaming the game like 4 hours in. I'll probably like break this up into like 3 videos or something, or 4 videos. I'm probably not even gonna post the part of me just crashing out, because honestly, it's just it's a little cringe and a little embarrassing to just be getting mad, relentlessly angry at a video game. Um, I'll probably separate this me more talking outside of the game into a video, and then like the rest of it. I don't know if I'm gonna play the game again. Honestly, if I do, I don't know if I'm gonna stream it either. Just because like I don't know. I don't. I kind of think I've already taken too long to beat the game, and I'm not totally sure that people really care. Um, at least based on like any viewership I've been able to get on anything so far. I've mostly been capping out on or my views have mostly been capping out on like multiplayer content anyway. Anyways, um Helldivers and Peak have been way more popular. Clover Pit too. Like honestly, like the Silksong ones are fine. I don't know. I'm just so mad with it. Like all my stuff is gets fucking like 30 views anyway, so it's not really a difference there. To be totally honest, I'm just coping because I don't know if I want to play any more of the game. Yeah, I mean that's why the clips are definitely easier to farm on things like Helldivers and Peak. The clips for the shorts are so much funnier from like things like Helldivers and Peak. And even though it's a solo player game where I'm just fucking doing slots, the Cloverfield too. Um, I don't know. I'm always keeping an eye out for more of these fun games. I'm actually one of the things I might just do, because it seems like a fun, silly game, is inside Clover Pit they advertised another game that they made called Yellow Taxi Go Vroom, and it looks super fun actually. It looks like it's just Mario, but you're a taxi, if that makes any sense at all. And I feel like that would be super funny to play. Um, And honestly, I want to have fun and be like laughing and not actually just like fucking getting mad at the game. And I don't know. It's not like I'm good enough at Silksong for for it to really be interesting to watch me play, and I'm not so bad that it's interesting to watch me play. I'm more just mad. And I don't actually think it's fun to just watch someone be mad. Um but yeah, anyway, thanks for watching the I think at peak maybe like 4 people that were in here. Um uh if the Oh, yeah, yeah. Actually, you know what? I did play Hades 2, but only before it was officially released. Hades 2 is awesome. I should play Hades 2. You're totally right, Nate. Like Hades 2 would be sick to play. Um, and you know what? That's a game that I had some small criticisms about when it was before its official release, and I think they masterfully addressed those criticisms. They masterfully addressed those criticisms I had of it before its release. They had like a grindy element where you had to like farm resources per run, and you could only get one resource per run because you had to choose these tools, and they just removed it to where like you could get any of the resources on any run, which was perfect. It worked so well. um, there was some other minor ones like weapon balance stuff, and they changed the weapons. Like the Hades 2, being able to watch it go from its like beta or alpha or whatever you want to call it to its official launch is watching it was like watching was watching your like dreams kind of come true. Like any problem I felt like I could come up with as I played the game, which it was great from the get-go. Don't get me wrong. Like it was a really fun, enjoyable game from hour 1. And I think I didn't put tons and tons because I didn't want to wear it out too much. But I did play a decent amount. Let's see, Hades 2. I played it 68 hours actually. So fuck, I played it a lot. I've played it twice as much as I've played Silksong almost. Um I haven't really played it at all. I don't think I've played it at all since it officially released. I was waiting for it to officially release. I played the shit out of it before it released, kind of like took notes on what I did and didn't like, and every time there was a patch during the unofficial release, I would check it out, and I watched Gabby play the official like release, and I just had to say like I think they did a phenomenal job. It feels like a game that got test played where they listened to players and prioritized people's enjoyment and respected their time and hoped that they would enjoy the game. Um, no, I should totally play Hades too. That would be a dope one to play. Uh, and yeah, I'd have an excuse to start over. And experience all the content fresh. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, those I think will be on the docket. Because I technically beat Clover Pit. I think there's a true ending in Clover Pit, but I don't know that I want to just like play Clover Pit over and over to get a true ending. I think the gameplay would get a little repetitive. I think I did 3 Clover Pit streams in total. I don't know if I'm gonna do any more unless like some people just really wanted me to. Um, I'll probably never stop doing Helldiver streams. The Helldiver streams are just mostly when I can get people to play with me, which is not all the time. Um, and if the game isn't crashing my computer, which it just does sometimes. Uh, but yeah, I think Hades 2 and Yellow Taxi Goes Room are the two games that I'm going to try and play next. Um, yeah, I don't know. If I end up playing Silksong again, it'll either be because they updated it or because I decided I just had to beat it. Um, but I don't know. I feel pretty defeated. I have no desire to keep playing it at this point. It's just I feel defeated on that. I'm just not having fun. So we're gonna try something that's gonna be fun. Hades 2 is almost. You did drop Helldivers? I dropped it for a little bit, and then there was like an update that like was crazy good, and I'll say I was enjoying it more before the big bug update that they recently did. Now the planet, I think they undid that update temporarily because I think everyone wasn't enjoying it. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't played bugs again since, but I have been enjoying the game for a while. Again, like I had dropped it for a couple months, and then I picked it back up, and I was like, it's more fun than it's ever been. Then I haven't been playing it as frequently now, mostly because I picked it back up when they did the big bugs update, and it was just so glitchy. It was the performance issues were so bad, and the new bug missions were not flushed out. They were not developed well enough. They were just unbelievably glitchy, so you just couldn't play the new content. It was kind of frustrating. Um, but the bots and the squids are actually still really fun. Um, I know some people are squid haters, and I was at first, but I've kind of grown on them because like it's kind of neat to realize that the squids are like what's good against the squids is so different than what's good against the bots or the bugs that it does actually feel slightly different. Like the gameplay loop feels slightly different because like there's a couple weapons that are just cheeks against the bots and the bugs. For example, the wasp. The wasp launcher is so bad against bugs and bots, but it's so good against the Illuminate because it can kill their stingrays in one hit. It can kill their big like walker robots in a one volley. It can kill the meatwads in two rockets in a volley, and a volley has like 6 or 8 rockets in it. And then you can also like easy kill the scout eyeballs with one rocket because they also lock on. It's like a weapon you like never get to use against anything else, which is then usable against squid. Also, most of the squid stuff, I'd say like 90% of the squid stuff is killable with light pen weapons. So light pen weapons, which aren't nearly as good against bugs, like light pen weapons are terrible against bugs. You need medium pen weapons against bugs. Light pen weapons are so good against Illuminate that I'd say like it's actually better to take light pen weapons against Illuminate than medium pen weapons most of the time. Um, Other stuff like there's a glitch with electric weapons, but electric weapons were also so damn good against Illuminate. Um, I don't think electric weapons are good against anyone right now because of a glitch. But again, that's a performance problem thing. They just need to fix this performance issue. Like, I don't even understand how this happened, but they, like, somehow broke the stun that happens on all the electric weapons. So now none of the electric weapons, like, stun people, which was like the big reason you take the electric weapons against Illuminate is because like if you shot the walkers with like the blitzer or something, they'd never fire their laser. So you could literally stun lock blitzers. Just every time you saw them starting to charge your laser, you just shock them once and they'd have to start their animation over for firing their laser. It was hysterical. Like you could literally just stun lock everything. And then like you could also zap the meat wads, and as long as they weren't mid charge, they would just stand still once they got zapped, and they'd just kind of like stand there and then start to rile up again, and then you'd zap them again, and you could actually play like really fun crowd control. Um, Even though fire weapons are really good against bugs, they were also really good against, or they are still really good against Illuminate, because Illuminate have all those shields and stuff, and the fire actually just ignores the shields. So like you can kill like the walker robots with a flamethrower through their force field and shit. There's a lot of cool stuff that like that I felt like interacted with the Illuminate that you didn't get to do on other people. Um, Bots, I think, were my favorite overall, just because I actually like the video gamey thing of all the bots having weak spots, so you can like use pretty much any good if you're gun if you're good enough with it, and just shoot weak spots. Um, I think I think right now, because of the one new unit they added, the War Strider, you get ragdolled a little too much, which can be a little annoying, but admittedly, it's also really funny. So like, I don't know. It hasn't been too frustrating for me. It's mostly just been like funny and kind of like memorable. Anyway, before I fucking like just rant for another hour, I gotta go to bed. Uh, I've been fucking like talking too long. My throat's hoarse at this point. Um, I'll try and do a fun stream after work tomorrow, of something. Probably Hades or Yellow Taxi Go Room. Those sound good. Uh, Thanks for watching, guys. Good night. Night, Nate.